Hi, my friends and subscribers out there, and everybody in the vinyl community. It's Peter back for another album review. I'm gonna go do Kiss today again. The second album, I'm gonna do Hotter Than Hell from 1974. So just got some notes here on the album. Before I start talking about some details about the album, I just want to say it's the first Kiss album I ever bought or played in the late 70s. It came out in 74, I got it around 78. My first Kiss album, so it's a very important album for me. And so I'll just talk some of the details of the album. It's got 10 tracks. It was released on October 22, 1974. Recorded in LA, Los Angeles, at the Village Recorder Studios. It's 33 minutes in length. The producers were the same as the first album, Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. It's got, I'll show you soon when I'll show you the album, Japanese theme, to the album, a big Japanese theme. The artwork is, in my opinion, I love it. It's great artwork. A wild party ensued for the photo shoot, and things got a bit raunchy at the party. I heard people drinking. Everyone got drunk they said, except Gene. So there you go. And Ace Frehley's his makeup was airbrushed for the cover and so on, and the photos, because of a car accident. He had injury to one side of his face, and it didn't do much chart wise, very moderate. But as years gone on, it's become like an iconic album. And so there's some details about it for you. As I said, I'll go through the tracks. Got to Choose, Parasite, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, All the Way, Watching You, Mainline, Coming Home, and Strange Ways. So here is, I had an older copy years ago, I haven't got it now, but I did purchase the 2014 reissue. I've got the European pressing, and here it is. Now, the album over the years has been known for its not so great production or muddy production, but this reissue sounds very good. I'm very impressed with the sound of these Kiss reissues on vinyl, and this sounds particularly good. And I love that cover. Something about it for me. It's the first album, as I said, I got, and yep. And I'll just show you the back. And look, you see them there. Yeah, and as you see, it's very detailed artwork, and I like it, very impressive. And so there it is. So, as I'll just talk about the songs now. Got to Choose, Paul Stanley on vocals, great vocal from Paul. Real good song, always loved it, still love it to this day. Good rock song, good solo at the end from Ace. Top song, and that's a great kickoff to the album. Then we got Parasite, one of the best songs Ace has ever written. A magical solo in this. Great riff, it has a great riff. As we know, Ace didn't sing his songs early on in the piece with the band. Gene sang this one and does a great job on it, and it's one of the standout cuts for me on the album. Then we get Going Blind, always been one of my favorites. A real great song, this one. A very, it's talked about, but not in as much as some of the other songs. Great vocals from Gene. I love him on these sort of songs, his vocals. And a nice, beautiful, there's a great solo in this as well. And just a real well-written song, this one. Going Blind, a real underrated gem, as they say, in the Kiss catalogue. Then we got the Paul on vocals again for Hotter Than Hell. A good song. These days I wouldn't be my favorite on the album, but it's a good track. It's a good track. And then after that we got Let Me Go Rock and Roll. Gene on vocals. Gene is great on the rock. I feel his vocals on the rock songs are awesome, and the ballads he does really well. He's got a sort of unique voice. It has a certain quality to it, and with his demonic persona back then, when you'll wrap it up, he brings an awesome amount to the band, with his writing, singing, and playing, and so on. But yeah, this is a good track, a good Gene song, and that closes out side one of if you're talking about vinyl, of the album. Now flip it over, and we get All the Way, and not much talked about song, but Gene's song, very catchy, very sing-alongy. Sort of song. I always found it very catchy and a great track. Then Watching You, Nelly could be my favorite song on the album. It's very close, a very sinister vocal from Simmons here. He really suits his voice, these sort of songs. That crazy riff to start it, and it just suits him, these sort of songs, I think, and that sinister sort of demonic persona he had back then, and still does, but I don't feel it. You don't get it as much these days, but back then he was really into his demonic persona. So that's a good one. And then we get Mainline. Now a lot of people say this is one of the weak songs. I've heard people say I like it. It's a Paul Stanley written song, sung by Peter. Peter does a great job on it. It's just like an up-tempo rock song, and a pretty good song. So as you can see so far, I really love this album. I've talked about, I haven't said anything's real bad or anything. And then we got Coming Home. This is another Paul catchy song. Paul has a great feel for the melody. He comes up with these things. He's a great writer, Paul, and as it shows on this album. But so Coming Home's a good track. But this is a great Gene album because you get a lot of vocals from Gene on this. You get him singing 5 of the songs, and I think Paul sings 3 and Peter 2, and Ace didn't yet sing. So it's a great Gene album, and it epitomizes the band. Somebody said, "What is Kiss?" You nearly show it for me. This album, it just epitomizes them. I think early Kiss. So yeah, I was just saying, that was Coming Home, the last one. Now Strange Ways has got a crazy guitar solo, which is awesome by Ace. I don't know how he came up with this. It's an awesome solo. He's a great musician. He's very inventive, and this is an Ace song, a great Ace song with a great solo sung by Peter Criss. So that closes the album. That's a great song. So there you have it. Now, probably I'll go for my 3 favorite songs of the album. Let's see. I might go Going Blind as one. I'll always love that. Watching You and Strange Ways. But it could have been Parasite, which is classic. So in a way it's pointless doing your favorite 3 because it could be any one of those. But the 3 I've thrown out there for today. And so if you haven't got this album, go get it. If you're a Kiss fan, you'll love it. It's awesome. And so rating out of 10, well, for me, this is a 10 out of 10 album. No question. And I will, for Kiss albums, I will give a few 10s because I was really in love with the band in the 70s and that period of the band. So So there it is. So Hotter Than Hell, 10 out of 10. And I want to know what you think of this album down below. And I did a while back a list, Kiss worst to best, and I had it at number 1. It was always around my top 3. Destroyer was my favorite album, and it still could be number 1 one day. But 1 and 2, and but I had it at number 1 for that video anyhow. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this, and tell me what you think about this album down below, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye.